Well, hello everybody. Mr. Mac is back, and I'm glad you're back too. We're going to be reading chapter 3 in the awesome book Onward, and I'm really liking the story so far. I can't wait to see it. I know it's on that Disney thing. I'm not going to see it though till I finish the book. I want to finish this first. I love to compare and see what's up. Normally in books there's more information. This particular book though, this was one of those rare books that was written after the movie. The movie came out first, and then the book came out. Normally it's the book first, then the movie. But anyway, so when we finished the prologue, chapter 1 and 2, we left Ian happy. And we left Ian happy, and he was hatching a plan. His mind was racing. Straighten this up a little bit. His mind was racing. He was coming up with a plan. And I asked you to predict and tell me, what do you think that plan was? I have a prediction. I have a good idea. I think I do, of what the plan was. I think what he's going to do, what his plan is to maybe come back later after school, come back to the restaurant and talk to Gaxton more, about his father, find out more information about his dad. And I think that's what he's going to do because of the way chapter 2 ended. I think that's what his plan is. He's going to come back and find out more about his dad. Absolutely. He left feeling so much better. Remember, the morning was awful. He dropped off three breakfasts, cereal and 2 pieces of toast just fell on the floor, and barley, But anyway, I think that's what it is. And if you agree, great. And if you don't agree, that's fine. And you know what? When we read chapter 3, we're going to find out if we were right. And if we were, great. Pat ourselves on the back. But if we weren't, great too. We can make the most educated prediction. We can have all the information, and we can still be wrong. That doesn't mean we did anything bad. It just means we were wrong. The story went in a different direction. So I'm either right or I'm wrong. Either way, it's awesome. All right, so chapter 3. Ian sat outside New Mushroomton High School, writing in his plan book. At the top of the page, he wrote, "New me," and he made a list. 1. Speak up more. 2. Learn to drive. 3. Invite people to my party. And 4. Be like Dad. Awesome. The bell rang and Ian snapped his notebook shut and headed inside with the other kids. Moments later, he walked into the classroom as a teacher was calling attendance. A large troll named Gorgamon sat in the desk right behind his. He always wore flip-flops and propped his giant, gross feet on the back of Ian's chair, taking up almost the whole seat. And he did this every single day. Ian thought about the first thing on his list. Do you remember what that was? What was the first thing on his list? Speak up more. Absolutely. Stand up for yourself. Speak up more. So he took a big breath. This is a big, gigantic, ugly troll, but he's going to do it. Gorgamon, hey, Ian, remember Ian? Would you mind not putting your feet on my chair today? It makes it a little hard to sit.
Sorry, dude. I gotta keep 'em elevated, said Gorgamon. Gets the blood flowing to my brain.
Well, I understand, Gorgamon, I do, but it just makes it a little hard to sit all morning on just a piece of chair. Would you mind? Gorgamon interrupted him.
Well, if I don't get blood flow to my head, I can't concentrate on my schoolwork. You don't want me to do bad in school, do ya?
No. I don't want you to do bad at all in school, Gorgamon. You go ahead. You put your feet up there. You go right ahead. Ian sat right up at the top of the chair on the teeny tiny stretch piece of chair that he could get his butt on, and felt so disappointed in himself. Later that afternoon, a goblin teacher stood next to a small car with a driver's ed sign on the roof. When she asked if any of the drivers wanted to volunteer to take their first road test, Ian reluctantly put his hand up. I will. Moments later, he was driving with the instructor sitting in the passenger seat next to him and 2 students sitting in the back. Now that's how driver's ed will be for you guys. It was like that for me. It's like that for your parents. It'll be like that for you. When you get to be 16, you take driver's ed. You'll sit in the car in the driver's seat. The instructor will be right to your right in the passenger seat, and the other 2 students who are waiting to drive will be sitting in the back. They'll get up and you'll sit back there when it's their turn to drive. So he's driving his car. Turn left here, the instructor said. Ian turned the signal on and turned the car left. Very good. Now, take that ramp onto the expressway. Go ahead. Okay, Ian said. Ian didn't want to say anything, but he was terrified of the expressway. It was full of cars, it was always busy, and the cars raced like it was a race day. They went so fast. The closer he got, the more nervous he got. Okay, we're getting there. Okay, get ready to merge, the instructor said. Okay, I'm ready. And then suddenly, Ian began to slow down. What are you doing? Keep going. Merge into traffic, Ian. Okay. But Ian couldn't. He was so nervous. He was terrified. Ian, merge! I can't do it, he said. I just can't do it. The instructor said, pull this car over, young man. So he did. Pulled the car over, put it in park, put his head down. He felt so ashamed of himself. So disappointed, like always. I'm not ready. I'm just not ready. And he couldn't believe it, that he had failed driver's ed again. When the last bell of the day finally rang, students poured out of the school to hang out and chat on the front lawn. Ian stood nearby. He was quietly talking to himself. Can you figure out what he was talking to himself about? No, there was something more on his list. He stood up for himself, and even though it didn't work out, he still stood up for himself. He stood up for himself again when he raised his hand to be the first driver. And now driver's ed, it didn't go that well. But what was the next thing on his list? Invite his people to his party. So that's what he's practicing. He's practicing on what to say. Oh, hey, what's up, dudes? I'm having a party tonight and was wondering if you want to come over and get down on some cake. His smile dropped. That's not something anybody says. And he looked at his palm, because what he had done, he had written it down on his palm. Hey, dudes, get down on some cake. That's just not what people say. They just don't say that. So he used his pen and he crossed out dudes. Gang. Hey, gang. That's better. Hey, gang. And he wrote gang there. And he changed it. Okay, don't say dudes. He said gang. What's up, gang? But it still didn't sound right to him. What's up, gang? So he thought he'd say it a little bit friendlier, maybe. Hey, gang. Well, it is what it is. He exhaled and he approached the group from his science class. And again, he's kind of standing on his own ground. He's doing it. He was determined to accomplish at least one thing from his list by inviting people to his birthday celebration. Hey, what's up, gang? And he was trying to sound confident because he wanted to be like his dad. They turned and they faced him. Oh, hey, you're Ian, right? Ian was surprised. Oh, Sedalia. Yes, Sedalia was an elf. Ian was surprised that she knew who he was. Oh, I didn't know that you knew my name, he said. And he looked down at his palm, and he saw that the words were all smeared because his palms were so sweaty. Whenever you get nervous, especially when you get older, your palms get really sweaty, and all that ink just was liquefied. Anyway, if you guys like parties, I'm going to do a party. What? Asked Sedalia. And of course, Ian knew that in his head what he said didn't sound right. What I was trying to say is if you guys aren't doing anything tonight, but I'm sure you probably are doing something tonight, but if you're not, and if you like cake, I like cake, I got cake at my house, and it was all just coming out wrong. Poor Ian. The group just looked at each other. They were confused. They weren't sure what was this kid trying to say. Are you inviting us to a party? Asked Sedalia. That's it. That's the one, said Ian. Yes. Oh, well, yeah. We don't have any plans, do we, guys? And they all shook their head no. The others agreed, and Ian looked up, completely shocked by their response. They all said, yeah, that they would come. Really? I guess, well, why don't we all just take the bus to my house now? It's ready to go. But just then, the sound of fantasy metal music and a backfiring engine caused him to pause. So he heard this loud backfiring engine and loud metal music, and he just stood there and closed his eyes. Any idea who this might be? I bet you can take a good guess. Everyone but Ian looked to see the source of the noise. It was an old van that sputtered up to the curb and a large Pegasus painted on the side. Lightning bolts were painted, flashing around the winged horse as it reared up on its hind legs. Oh, no, 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 please, 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 chanted Ian, please, he said quietly to himself, please don't be.
Ha! Is that the birthday boy I see?
Said Barley, hanging out the driver's side window.
Behold, your chariot awaits.
The group looked at Ian. Ian, you know that guy? Asked a Cyclops named Althea.
Sir Landor of Lightfoot,
Barley shouted from the window. Ian, it seems like he's talking to you.
Hey, Ian!
Barley yelled while honking the horn.
Walk, walk, walk.
Finally, Ian turned around. Oh, hey, Barley. Yeah, we're actually going to take the bus today, okay?
The bus? Nay, I will give you and your companions transport upon Guinevere.
Who's Guinevere? Asked the satyr named Parthenope.
My mighty steed here.
And he proudly smacked the old van. And when he did that, a bumper, the front bumper, fell right off.
Oops, that's embarrassing. That's okay, girl. We'll patch you back up,
Barley said. And he stepped out of the van with a big old roll of duct tape. He ripped off a few long pieces of tape and used them to reattach the bumper. And as he bent over to secure it, his pants sagged, showing the top of his butt. Ew. And that's what everybody did. Ew. A couple of the kids giggled. And of course, Ian just wanted to die. Ian groaned, slipped his hand over his face, mortified, and he turned to the group. Guys, he is just joking. And they looked at Ian and frowned. He had unknowingly wiped some of the sweaty ink off his hand onto his cheek. Sorry, it was his hand. You've got something on your face, said Sedalia. And Ian wiped the clean side. Here? Where? Here? Where? Oh, no, you just know it's on the right side. No, it's well, of course, The ink was no longer on his hand. It was all over his, you got it, poor Ian. Ink now all over his face. Finally, he looked down. He saw his hand and he realized what had happened. Oh, he said, you know what, guys? I just remembered that my birthday is canceled. What? Asked Aletha. I mean, the party. The party is canceled, said Ian. It was never actually happening. It was just this huge misunderstanding. So I gotta go. Bye, everybody. And the group watched, confused, as Ian raced off and hopped into the van. As he tried to sit, Barley chuckled and scooped up a pile of parking tickets on the passenger seat. Oh, whoops, said Barley. Let me just file those. And he grabbed the tickets and shoved them into the glove box. And then he looked over at Ian and he gasped, "Hey, did those kids write on your face?" And he licked his thumb and he started to wipe it off. "Here, I'll get it off, brother." "Oh, Barley, please. Can we please just go home?" "Well, okay. We'll perform your birthday ceremony later," said Barley. "Then you'll be ready for adulthood. It's the gauntlet of challenges." Barley looked out the window as he babbled on. "You know, in ancient times, you celebrated your day of birth with a solemn quest." Ian slumped in his seat, feeling like a complete failure, trying to tune out Barley. And the last thing he wanted to hear was one of his brother's speeches about ancient times. And as they drove away, the dragon mascot that was painted on the side of the school gym caught his eye. Its goofy grin and big thumbs up made him feel even worse. Poor Ian. Well, this chapter ended differently, certainly, than chapter 2. Chapter 2, it ended with Ian being elated, happy. This chapter here, he completely feels defeated, doesn't he? Everything he tried to do just went wrong, you know. And poor Barley, you know, Barley is his older brother and drives him nuts, but I'm sure Barley means well. But, you know, that doesn't help. That doesn't always help. So anyway, so that is the end of chapter 3. And I want you to try to predict, what do you think is going to happen next? Do you think he's going to go home? And I think he's going to go home. My prediction is he's going to go home. He's going to go straight to his bedroom. He's going to shut the door, lay in the bed, and either cry himself to sleep or just lay and look at the ceiling or bury his head in his pillow. I know that's kind of sad, but the way this chapter ended, that makes me think that's what he's going to do. Now, maybe it'll change. Something will happen. But I think that's what's going to happen, you know. And you know, the cool thing is Barley mentions all kinds of things about the past. He's into this ancient stuff, things that happened centuries before. And he said something interesting. He said, you know, in ancient times, you celebrated your day of birth with a solemn quest. I wonder what a quest is. Do you know what a quest is? Think about it. Think about what a quest is. Next time I come back, we'll talk about it. But wouldn't that be kind of cool if that's what you did on your birthday? You went on a quest. But then again, you got to know what a quest is. Anyway, till next time, chapter 4. See ya. Bye. Stay clean, stay good, stay safe, get some good rest, and I'll see you soon.